Is there a point to life? Do I have a point? What is my point? There appears to be a man talking. But what is his point? Point meaning, what is he trying to get across? What information is he wanting to share? Does he want to offer? Does he want to question? Does he want to detract, subtract something? Does he want to be positive? Does he want to be negative? The moment consciousness is realized, it takes away all points. It takes away all methods, all practices, all reasons, all measurements, all analysis, all judgment. It takes away everything your mind has worked tirelessly hard to gather up here. Yet you want to seek consciousness. So you say, I have nothing to lose. Well, that's really debatable. So what's the point? You see? What's the point of searching for consciousness? God, the same, takes everything away. You think God has time to sit with everyone in their frame of mind, with their CV, their story, listening day after day, month after month, year after year, century after century. To the news about me, the news about who I am, what I discovered, where I lived, what I inherited, a family, how I managed some relationships and failed with others, how I tried to be positive but always the negative came in front of me, how I always tried to juggle with jobs to see if I can get one that suits me, a partner that suits me, a country that suits me. And God says that was not the point. And God says, I put you away clean. And now you come back messed up. The point. And when you discover through this consciousness, wow, all my life I tried so hard to seek some sort of purpose, some sort of meaning, some sort of status, some sort of position, some sort of happiness, some sort of quality. And now consciousness says there's no point. And then consciousness says, well, that's not true. I said there was no point. To seeking, to searching. There was no point to adding, to enlarging your brain, enlarging your mind, enlarging your conceptual ideas of what could be done, what should be done, where should I do it, how should I do it. The point was to see that there's no point. Because when no point arises. Everything is as it is. When there's no mind that seeks, looks outwards for some purpose, for some reason, because the body doesn't move when the mind is seeking outwards. The mind is away out there. What's the method? What's the practice? Where can I go? How can I do it? And the body still remains seated, not harming a soul, not harming another body. Bodies, they fight in war, not because the bodies want to, because the mind has seeked and seeked until it is physically seek, vomit seek. And it can't abide not having anything to do, not have anything to search for. You see, the idea of war is for everyone to say, wow, we don't want this. Let's stop. Let's stop looking. It's not going to happen, you see. Too many are controlled by their mind. Too many bodies suffer through the mind. Too many bodies have illness through the mind's needfulness, its wanting, its desiring. And then you say, this must be this guy's point, to tell him to stop doing anything. The body cannot stop. This hand is moving. The body cannot stop. One day, something will stop it. But until then, it's going to keep moving. It's going to keep sensualizing, experiencing, living. Consciousness says so. When you remove, what is this consciousness that speaks? It's your most inner, deepest, tranquil, pure beingness that is ingrained and a point within you. You see, that's the point. And that point doesn't seek. That point lives free, happy. It just points. But it makes no assertions. It makes no summary. It makes no identification to what it's pointing at. All of this is here right now. Take away the names, take away the colors, take away the mind, take away the associations, take away the information, take away the knowledge, and it's here. And then the mind says, well, this guy's trying to say, just be bored. Well, the head can be bored. The head can experience any kind of state of mind. Because the mind sends the information to the head and says, look, I'm bored. And the head says, bored. And the body starts moving. That message to the body makes movement. But the body's never bored. It has no time to be bored. It's focusing and concentrating on the digestive system, on the kidneys, on the heart, on the liver, on the breathing, the lungs. It's concentrating on the nerves, on the emotional neurons and non-neurons and atoms and molecules, and saying, keep going, keep going, keep going. That's our job. Boredom is when the brain says to the body, do something. But the mind has to be the instigator. The mind has to say what to do. What to do, what to seek for, what to look for, what to search for. Let's look at the books, let's look at finding God. Let's look at joining some religious practice. Let's look at getting a new job. Let's look at doing something worthwhile for the world. Let's look at all these things that are possible, that is feasible, that is achievable. And all these things are taking place on their own. You live in a moment-to-moment life. You'll find that you're helping someone. Someday you're in anguish. Someday you're sad. Some days you're happy. Some days you're doing something physically and you don't realize why you're doing it, how you're doing it. It matters not. It's filling the boredom gap, you see. But the opportunity to understand what this point is, that is deep within each one of us, is to be bored and say, what can I do? Let's utilize this boredom today. Let's question what this guy is saying. Let's inquire within. Let's set up a practice on my own. Let's ask the question, who am I? What am I? Can I be seen? Where am I looking from? Who is this I? Who is this me? Nothing happened. And consciousness saying in the background, gave up so easily. Gave up so easily. What are we up against here, What are we up against? Your inner being, your inner Sadguru, your inner self, your wholeness, the one that you represent, or the one the mind represents, the one that the body represents. You're looking away from it. You're always looking out for something to do, places to go, methods, practices. You're always looking for purpose, meaning. You're always measuring yourself. You're always comparing. You're always competing. You're always looking down the two paths of good and bad. You see, everyone says, well, that's okay, looking for the good path, Who is the looker? Who is the one that looks down and can see both paths? Is that one good or bad? What looks? What sees? Who is this I? The I that looks. You are the point. Anything you look for outside is trivial, is secondary to you, is meaningless to you, except the food and the oxygen and the breath and the body. Everything else is looking away from truth. There's only one direction to truth, that's within. And this within takes you out with, you see. And you'll find that there's nothing separates you from anything in this universe. Because I am consciousness. I am consciousness. Am I. Consciousness the mirror. I am I.